So we're here at Second Reef on the western side of Lady Elliot Island. So we're going to jump in and do a tourism weekly survey. We're looking at the health of the coral and some of the indicator fish just to check on how things are going. We use the surveys as an indication of what activities we need to undertake. So when we go for a look around, we'll see if there's anything we need to do. We might pull off some Drapella snails, and if we see any crown of thorns starfish, we've got the kit here to inject them as well.
For the first time ever in its existence, tourism on the Great Barrier Reef shut down completely. What the Reef Authority recognised was that we need to maintain connection with the high-value reefs that they visit. That whole idea spun up to a proposal to government for support funding during the COVID pandemic, which really then activated the assets which the marine tourism industry have to deliver the reef conservation and protection services that the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park Authority needed.
Tourism Reef Protection Initiative is a federally funded program that contracts tourism operators to conduct reef protection services at high-value sites across the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park.
There's 26 tourism operators involved in the Tourism Reef Protection Initiative, and that's a range of islands, liverboards, day boats, and they stretch the whole length of the Great Barrier Reef Marine Park.
The Tourism Reef Protection Initiative has actually allowed us to trial the development of site stewardship plans. So with all of the operators involved in the Reef Protection Initiative, we've been working closely with the managers and the environmental managers and some of the key staff from each of these operators so we can put together a detailed analysis of their site and look at what potentially these operators could be doing more of, but also gaining more knowledge about their sites.
When COVID had hit and, everybody was working from home, which was a really bizarre concept. So overnight we couldn't come into the office and I was trying to come to terms with what COVID potentially meant. But my job and what I ultimately love to do is to work with the tourism industry, work with staff on tourism vessels. And so I couldn't not think about the impact that this would be having on tourism. And I had this really small budget that I didn't think I would be able to do anything really meaningful with. And so instead I just rang a number of these tourism operators and asked them whether we could help them with fuel to get out to the reef and send their staff out there to collect data for us.
We invested a little bit of our own program money in the first instance, and it was actually called the Remaining Connected Project, where we just did a little bit of funding to support frontline tourism staff getting out to their reefs to be able to monitor them and provide us with some information about what they were seeing on their reefs, just to maintain a little bit of connection.
To me, I guess in the beginning was very much a lifesaver during COVID, but it enabled us to be able to do an extra day of work with our staff. So we had JobKeeper at the time, we were doing 2 days work, and this enabled us to do 1 extra day's work. So in terms of staying alive as a company, that was the first thing. But it was so much more after that. We learned so much on doing the courses, and it engaged new staff and experienced staff, but also the start of perhaps the way we started to change the way we interpret our reef.
I was given a phone call around the latter part of 2020 by one of my mentors through the Master Reef Guide program, Fiona Merida. She asked me if I'd be interested in coming and helping her with a little project she had designed for the tourism industry. And I became the project manager for the Tourism Industry Activation and Reef Protection Initiative.
We had staff standing idle, and it was just made sense that we do more. And we're all committed to the environment anyway, and this gave us an opportunity to use the boats and the people to actually get involved in reef health. And that's really what the Reef Initiative was about. It was the reef operators asking to become part of the science, if you like.
Being able to train those tourism industry staff in reef health and impact surveys puts them in the same line as Queensland Parks and Wildlife Rangers and with other data collection agencies. Therefore, it's driving the tourism industry to be on the same level with the data they're providing to the Reef Authority.
The quality of the data that we've been collecting and at the time frame that we've been collecting it at the scale of weeks rather than the scale of years has added significantly to our understanding of how the reef is responding to climate changes.
And that stemmed into, wow, we're getting all of this incredible data, we're finding out things about these sites, and we're able to be protecting these locations. And we got some attention, got some people to notice how important this was and how special it was, which then turned into the phases of the Tourism Reef Protection Initiative that have come from then.